Dear students, today we are dealing with ecological, socio-cultural, economic, and demographical factors of malnutrition. First of all, what is malnutrition? When we hear the word malnutrition, we just assume that something deficient, something lacking. It is not correct definition for not correct meaning of malnutrition. These deficiencies and also excesses or imbalances in a person intake of energy and nutrients. The malnutrition means there may be deficiency or there will be excess of some nutrients or energy, or there may be some imbalances in between nutrients quantities. These three are called malnutrition. There are two types of malnutrition. First one is undernutrition, and another one is overnutrition. Uh, and also there is imbalances. The main types are undernutrition and overnutrition. Undernutrition here comes stunting. Stunting, you know that low height for age, and wasting, low weight for height, and underweight, low weight for height. Micronutrient deficiencies. Our nutrition means overweight and also obesity or that related NCDs like diabetes mellitus or dyslipidemia or cardiovascular diseases like that. We are dealing with determinants of malnutrition. Determinants means what are the causes of malnutrition or what persistent or precipitate malnutrition. What are the factors that precipitate malnutrition? There are many types of factors I already said. We are first going to deal with ecological. Ecological means something related to environment. That may be climate or soil fertility or water availability of that region or natural disasters and environmental conditions affecting food production and health. These are the factors that climate, soil, fertility, water availability, natural disaster, all are affecting the food availability of people in living in that region. So it may lead to malnutrition. Okay, these factors may lead to malnutrition or imbalances or deficiency of some nutrients or excess or toxicity of some nutrients. Next factor is socio-cultural. Socio-cultural means the factors that related to cultural habits or society taboos like that. It include food habits of the persons, taboos persistent in society or beliefs persistent in community, education of the society or woman status, and cultural practices that all shaping dietary intake of that people, that society's people. It affect the health status of people. It may lead to malnutrition like that. For example, in some region there is a taboo that a pregnant woman never eat egg. It will affect the health of infant or prenatal baby. So it's a taboo. Since we know that egg is very healthy food for pregnant body or a required food for pregnant lady. So just like that, there are many taboos or food habits like that. So it affects, of course, it affects the dietary intake of pupils. Next factor is economic and demographical factors. That means economic or demographically, socio-economic status of people affect the food intake of the society. That may be poverty and also food prices. And some we know that some region has highest price for some food, but even the time. So in some region there is no that products seem to cheaper like that. And employment of the people also affect the food dietary intake and population growth, age of course, and gender and urbanization means in village area there is so much food availability because agriculture is in focus. Urbanization, there is no agriculture in habits, so people need to buy anything we can eat with cash. It influencing the access and availability. These all factors affect access and availability of the food to people. So these are the economic and demographical factors we are seeing in detail. First one is ecological factors. In case that the first factor is climate and natural disaster. We already know that climate of a area would affect the production of agriculture, and also natural disasters should influence the production of agriculture and availability of food, accessibility of food, like that. And for example, flood and drought and or heat waves reduce crop yield, and it destroy food supplies to that people, and it also increase infectious disease outbreaks. So we know that this all affect the dietary intake of people and the health status of the people, like that. Next factor is soil fertility and water resources. Soil fertility means it influences the agricultural production, and also some availability of some nutrients, and also water availability also directly determine agricultural productivity, so and production capacity, and these two are very important factor that determine dietary intake of or dietary habits of the people and the health nutritional status of the people. Next factor is pollution and sanitation. Environmental pollution and poor sanitation contaminate food and water, that increase disease burden and malnutrition risk. The burden of diseases may affect the food intake and lead to malnutrition. The climate and agriculture can lead to malnutrition. First one, first in case of drought, a drought decreases crop yield by limiting water availability for irrigation and rain-fed agriculture. Prolonged dry spells lead to crop failure, livestock death, and reduced food availability across regions. Of course, it leads to unavailability of food. Okay. Next, floods and heat waves. Floods destroys crop through water logging and soil erosion. Heat waves reduces agricultural productivity by stressing plants and lowering yields. So climate change intensifies these extremes. Food security impact. Food security impact is means climate change impacts food security that causes food shortages and higher prices. This cascade leads to reduced dietary diversity and increased malnutrition globally. So climate change badly affects the food availability or access of food availability for the people, and it leads to, of course, malnutrition or imbalances or excess or toxicity or the deficiency of many diseases. Water, sanitation, and environment, how it impacts to the nutrition. The poor water supply may lead to unsafe drinking water and poor hygiene practices, reduced agricultural production, and increased waterborne diseases. This may lead to may decline the health status of the people, and of course that lead to malnutrition and unavailability of uh, good agricultural products. That also, the poor sanitation always leads to communicable diseases and increased diarrhea and dehydration or cholera outbreaks, typhoid fever, or worm infestation. It reduces nutrient absorption and increases the malnutrition risk. Look for the socio-cultural factors of malnutrition. We already said that there are many taboos or many habits persistent. For example, food habits and taboos means a traditional food practice or dietary restrictions and cultural beliefs shape nutritional intake. Avoiding nutrient-rich food due to myths or taboos limits dietary diversity, like that the pregnant woman can eat egg, or a preterm or newborn baby uh, would not given by cholesterol as first. Like that. These are removed now, but it is persistent in sometimes. Next, education and women's status. Low literacy and limited women decision making power reduce awareness of proper nutrition. So, a healthy status of a house required a literal high literacy for women and high educated women, or high decision power for women in case of kitchen planning or meal planning for that house. The educated mothers improve child feeding practices and family health outcomes. Next factor is family and lifestyle practices, like that, for example, infant feeding patterns. Over for family size always reflect in dietary intake of the members. And lifestyle choices directly affect nutritional status. The delayed complementary feeding and discarding colostrum increase and nutritional risk. Delayed complementary feeding means maybe there is a number of families members are in high. There may be unattending on infant feeding. The repetition is key for the more detailed explanation for you when this question comes in and for essay like that. So you need more points to explain according to mark of the question. Okay, the food habits and cultural practices like that, avoiding eggs during pregnancy. And also there is a myth fishes need to avoid, that is limit protein and micronutrient intake. And delayed complementary feeding for infants after 6 months, and also discarding colostrum deprives infants of essential nutrients. These practices lead to nutrition deficiencies, so maternal malnutrition, also child will be undernourished. Education and women's empowerment means a nutrition education improves food selection and also hygiene practices, child feeding and breastfeeding. A woman's empowerment enhances family nutrition, child growth, and household food security. Educated mothers raise healthier child because the educated mother knows what is healthy and what is unhealthy, what will how to plan for a daily meal of the family. So they have a power for decision making. They should have a power for decision making, and it affects whole health status of the family. So we can go to economic factors. Economic factors, for example, first one is poverty. Poverty limits food access and purchasing power of the people, and forcing reliance on low-cost nutrient poor diets. And unemployment and rising prices maybe lead to unemployment, of course, lead to uh, money power, decline of money power. So, and of course, there should be a rise in prices for the low economic status of the society, and to reduce household food security and diet quality. So, next one is low productivity and healthcare gaps. The reduced agricultural output and limited healthcare access worsen malnutrition outcomes. That means a reduced agricultural output reduces dietary intake of healthy foods, and there may be diseased condition or communicable diseases or dietary deficiencies. But the people may use limited healthcare access or limited healthcare. It worsens malnutrition outcomes. When it comes to poverty and food security, there is need to understand the cycle of poverty and malnutrition. Poverty leads to low purchasing power of the people. It leads to food insecurity, and this insecurity leads to assessing poor quality of diets. And this quality of diets leads to, of course, micronutrient deficiencies. This caused repeating. Okay, poverty, poor diet, illness, reduced productivity, and more poverty. Okay, micronutrient deficiencies leads to low health status of the pupil. Low health status of pupil leads to reduced productivity. Reduced productivity leads to more poverty, and this cycle is repeating. The key consequences of poverty are the inability to afford nutritious food, increased vulnerability to disease, and impaired physical and cognitive development, intergenerational transmission of poverty, and higher healthcare cost burden. It's also always leads to poverty, and poverty leads to malnutrition. The cycle is repeating. We look at two key influences of demographic factors on nutritional status. First one is population and growth. The rapid population growth increases food demand and also strains limited resources. The larger population compete for scarce food supplies, leading to reduced per capita availability and heightened malnutrition risk, especially in resource poor regions. Okay, and availability is less and population growth is high. There will be competition for the food. Okay, second factor is age and gender dynamics. Age and gender significantly shape nutritional vulnerability. Children, adolescent, pregnant women, and the elderly have elevated nutrient needs. They are changing. Not everyone not need the same nutrient requirements. The needs are changing, and types of food is changing. So gender inequality often results in women receiving less food, directly impacting maternal and child health outcomes. The system is persistent in some region, some society, or some community. The children and women are receiving uh, low quantity of food, and adult man is receiving higher quantity, and they get importance. Okay, that is the influence of age and gender. The urbanization and migration. Urbanization and migration alter food access and dietary patterns. Rural to urban migration disrupts traditional food sources, while urban poverty limits nutrition options. Family size and high dependence ratio further reduce household food security. When it comes to socio-demographic factors, there is should be given for high risk population groups. What are the high risk population group? That is infants and children and women and adolescents, and of course elderly and migrants. The infants and children require highest intake of nutrients since they have rapid growth and development. They create high demands of nutrients. Infants face risk from suboptimal breastfeeding and infections due to uh, uneducated mothers or poverty conditions like that. Next team group is women and adolescent. The pregnant and lactating women need extra nutrients, of course, and adolescents experience growth spurts with increased nutritional requirements. And the elderly and migraines, aging reduces nutrient absorption and appetite. So they need a specifically planned food or nutrient-rich foods to meet the requirement of that age. And migrant workers often lack a consistent access to adequate food and health care. The interrelationship of factors. These factors, we are mentioned so many factors that affect malnutrition or nutrition status of the community. These all factors are interrelated. So we should understand the flow of these factors, then only we can break the circle and improve the nutritional status or community status. So, for what we understand the flow, how ecological and economical, social, cultural factors connected to shape nutritional outcome. This to understand this flow to break this. So, to understand these factors, socio-economical, demographic factors, is important to prevent or control malnutrition. So, first one, improve food security, nutrition education to ensure a stable food supply and educate communities on a balanced diets, healthy eating habits, and proper child feeding practices. Next point is safe water sanitation and women water environment. To provide clean water, it is necessary to provide clean water and sanitation facilities while empowering women to improve household nutrition and also for consistent breastfeeding, and it results in family health outcomes as good. Many government programs in India to prevent malnutrition or control malnutrition. First one is ICDs. ICDs is Integrated Child Development Services that provide supplementary nutrition, preschool education, and health checkups for children under 6. Next one is PM Portion. PM Portion is a midday meal scheme that ensures nutritious meals in schools, improving enrollment and reducing classroom hunger. Third one is Portion Abhiyan. Portion Abhiyan targets stunting reduction through convergent nutrition actions. And next one is PDS, Public Distribution System, like Ration Gada and Maveli Store, like that. It subsidizes essential food grains, ensuring vulnerable population access adequate calories and basic nutrition security in low cost as low cost. For fifth one is Anemia Mukt Bharat. Anemia Mukt Bharat aims to have anemia prevalence through fortified foods for supplementation and deworming. Another one is NIPI, that is National Iron Plus Initiative. It provides iron folic acid supplements to children, adolescents, and women to prevent micronutrient deficiencies. This undergoing through implement through Anganwadis or through Asha workers or through schools, government schools like that. Students for attending these sessions and please careful about points and make prepared notes.